Hi, I'm Anne and I write things. So today is a writing vlog. We're gonna do fun writing stuff and I'm going to be writing or continuing to write or doing other things. I'm going to be working on Project Slime, which is my sapphic sci-fi. I don't actually have a really great explanation for it yet. I kind of want to write a blurb just to have a better idea of what's actually going on, but that's for future me to figure out. So we'll deal with that later. I've written about 3,000 words in it, probably around 4,000. So I'm very early in the process, which is fun. But I'm actually finding myself kind of struggling with like knowing where to go from here and struggling with motivation. And I was thinking about it. Okay, I was having thoughts, deep thoughts, or moderate thoughts. I've been having like slightly shallow thoughts that are still helpful. And I realized that my brain, like as of right now, where I am currently within my life, is I am not capable of switching between a lot of different like thought processes. I'm just not capable of sort of like switching between the drafting process and also the planning process, which is normally what I do. I like write a little bit and then I plot a little bit and then I write a little bit and I just kind of like switch back and forth because I really enjoy the brainstorming process. But because of that, I realized that I don't have like the current like brain power bandwidth to actually go through and do that sort of like switching, because that takes a little bit out of me, just like switching. I'm gonna have to actually segment my tasks even more than I normally would. For this project, for my Project Slime, I'm actually gonna go through and outline the whole thing. I'm going to outline it scene by scene, like step by step, and we're going to go and outline it, and then we're going to like take a step back and we'll come back and we'll edit that one. That's my plan. So I'm going to actually outline this one, which is gonna be fun. I haven't outlined a project or a story for like a while, like a few years now. I've outlined like 2 or 3 stories that I've written. One of them I actually wrote and the other one I just outlined. And because it was fun, but that one I outlined because it had like, how many characters? It had like 6 characters, each of whom had their own like romantic arcs. It was a little bit of an undertaking, so I had to go and like make sure that all of the characters had like an actual like character and like moments on the screen, and that you switched enough between them and they had enough overlap that they felt like real characters and like you wouldn't just forget about them going to the next one. This one only has 2 characters, so that'll be a bit easier. We're like outlining though, so that's really fun. This is gonna sound so like so strange, but I really find it really fun how different projects require different processes and how I need different things for different projects. Like maybe that project in particular has different needs for me, or maybe it's just like what's going on in my life that affects what I need from different projects, and it's just fun. And the more I write, the more like data points I have on like what all of this does, the more likely I will actually be able to come up with like understanding of why this happens and why I need to change my process. So I'm just following my joy. Okay, we're just gonna follow my joy, and that's what's going on. What I typically do with some of this stuff is I come out with these like really big picture ideas of what I want to happen and sort of the progress, either about the plot or the characters. Usually it's like the big picture plot, where I have these 6 points of like, oh, these are things that I'm thinking about having happen. And they don't always mean much. And when I wrote Project Star, they like changed a lot. Went so off the rails. Like I think the entire like second half of those ideas I had for what was gonna happen, gone out, destroyed. Except for the last scene. The last scene and the last one I was the same. This one I have like 6 big picture stuff of like, oh, these are the things going on. So what I'm doing in this like secondary outline thing, I guess I do kind of outline, I don't know, it depends on the story. This secondary sort of outline, I'm going through each of my big picture plot points, which are like the plot. And I'm going in and I'm adding individual scenes. And so what I'm doing there is I'm just like adding subplots, and I'm adding like the little things that will help them go through their character arcs, which is really fun. I'm really like obsessed with these character arcs. I don't know how they'll go or like what the process is yet. That's what I'm figuring out right now. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see how it turns out. So we're going through and we're going to go and type out all the scenes in each of these little sections. We're basically doing what I usually do for the midpoint, because I always get stuck in the midpoint. Just so strange, because I love writing the midpoints, but I get really confused when I'm writing the midpoint. I feel so lost when I actually get there. Should be fun. But it's really interesting. It's really really fun. So we're going through that. But I always like doing the outline after I've written a bit in the character's POV, because if I don't write a bit in the character's POV, I feel kind of lost. Like I don't feel like I understand the characters at all and what they would do. Like it just doesn't like progress. So I always like writing just a wee little bit before I actually do the outlining. I need a sense of the characters to kind of understand like what they would do. I'll give you updates, I guess, once I like finish this. I'm back. I've made some progress on a bit of an outline. I have about like 32 scenes. I say about as though I don't have the exact number memorized for no reason. I have about 32-ish scenes prepared and ready for like, you know, the actual outline. Some of them are likely going to be split into multiple scenes, and some are likely just like ideas and going to be scrunched together into singular scenes, but the ideas are all there, which is what really matters. If I don't have enough space to write like what I want, which technically you have all the space you need in Scrivener, it goes on forever. But I like it to fit on those cute little like note card things on the pinboard. And so once it gets past there, sometimes I'll just make a new scene card because we just do what we do. It doesn't need to be perfect or like make any sense until like I actually have the final draft, right? But that's pretty good. After looking at my other projects, it takes me approximately like 90 to 100 scenes, 110 scenes to like actually write a full book. That gives me like some sort of idea of what exactly all of this means. Of course, the one book where I have like over 100 scenes is there's a lot of really short scenes, which is fine. Because I don't know. Anyways, I'm just going to keep going and keep adding outline stuff. I've kind of changed the strategy of how I've been doing the outlining stuff. I've mostly been going in order, like chronologically, because fortunately I feel like I understand these characters well enough that I can just go chronologically and I can just like follow like what their character arcs and what their characters would do, while also keeping in mind the external factors. It does mean, because I'm around 32 scenes in, that I'm getting closer to like the midpoint, which is typically where I get a little stuck with writing anyways and have to start like writing up some plans for a couple of like, for the next like 10-20,000 words, right? And so like we're getting to that point, so it's going to be really interesting to see if it still is something I can deal with without having the like background of all the previous chapters. If I can actually like outline those before getting to those, because a lot of the stuff that happens in the midpoint and in the middle area of the book is stuff that's been like built up accidentally through the early chapters, and then I pick whatever strands I like and I start like I extend them. So it should be fun. It's definitely really interesting. I'm getting a better idea of the themes of the book. It's also nice kind of doing it this way because like for this book, and recently in particular, just like in terms of actually writing, I've been coming up with these ideas and like general ideas of like story arcs, and I just don't really like any of them. Like, I'll like go through and I'll be like, I want to explore this thing, let's go and set up this story arc, and then I set it up and I'm like, oh, I'm not a huge fan. And a lot of it is not necessarily the big picture stuff. It's sort of like the smaller, more detailed stuff. Like there are themes or like characters or relationships I don't really want to write or explore at this point in like this project or like a different project, and I include them in the book anyways, and I'm like, why am I doing that? But then like what else do I do? So I don't know, kind of an existential crisis. But like I'll be fine. It's nice to be doing this outline because it kind of like gives me time to really think about the details and like how to either change the plot points I was thinking of or how to like rework them and all that stuff. And it's really fun. It's actually going to be like a long day of just like writing is my plan, or just outlining. My goal is to finish the outline today. So what I'm gonna do, I have like a video that I've been watching of just people playing games, which I usually just watch in the background of stuff. So my goal is to basically watch that and write for the entirety of the video. The video is like 3 hours long. So I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna outline for the entirety of that video, and then we'll see where I end up. But after I'm done with that, I'm gonna go eat, and then we're gonna go back, and I think I have I think that's when MSI will come on, and I'll probably just watch MSI, and either I will write the entire time or I'm just gonna write when the like casters are talking. And so that's my plan, and then we'll go and we'll do the outline, and hopefully we can finish it while it's still nice and cool. I guess I'll go and I'll be doing that today. I might update you later in the day on what actually got done. There's a chance that I'm gonna have all these lofty goals and absolutely nothing is gonna get done, so wish me luck. Hello, I returned. It's the same day as the last clip, and I did actually finish doing the outline. It gets really like questionable towards the end. Not in terms of like questionable, but it just gets really vague because I don't really know like the steps it takes. And a lot of times for me, a story kind of builds as I'm writing it. So it's like the end is kind of questionable, but the end, like the last few scenes, makes a lot of sense to me. That tends to come a bit clearer for me. Like endings make a bit more sense than like beginnings or middles or anything like that. I have a lot of ideas for it. There's a lot of things that I realized going through the outline, and part of it is I have no clear view on where one of the main characters' like character arc is going to go, but that is like part of the reason I'm writing this story. It's because I really want to explore that character arc, and I really want to explore like all these really complex emotions that have to do with it. And so I think it's fine. I think it's good that I don't know about it, because that's one of the main things that I want to figure out. So yay! That's good. But yeah, anyways, it's completed. So that was really straightforward. I think I only ended up with like 50 something like cards itself. So it's very much a trimmed down outline. And towards the end, I was just like, how about this and this? When I was writing those, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a bunch of different scenes all together that like is only contained within this one outline card. So I think it's fair. I think it's about book size. I always wonder, I'm never 100% sure like how you know a book is gonna be book sized or not, which I know sounds very silly, but I'm like never quite sure. But it seems book sized. Like the idea is book sized. So that'll be really fun. I'm really excited for some of the lore that's happening, like the external lore, which I think is gonna be really fun. So also you can tell my hair is a bit more messed up than it was earlier, which makes sense. But yeah, that's where it is. We finished the outline, so awesome. That was really all I really wanted to do today. But the thing is, well, I didn't even think I would finish the outline. The main thing I really wanted to do today was just to work on writing stuff. Like I just really wanted to. I wanted to take this whole day and just work on writing stuff, and it's only been a couple of hours, you know? Like that's just not enough. And I'm still ready and like raring to go. So I don't think I want to actually write that book I just edited right now. I think I want to like think about the outline a bit more and then read through it and make sure it makes sense to me. And yeah, so I'm probably not gonna do that, but well, I might do that later. We'll see. I think I need a bit of a break from it, which is, it's part of life. I also have a scene to type up that like for that story, but we'll do that later. But anyways, the one thing I really want to do today is I have like an outline for Project Star, and I have all the scenes I want in it, all the scenes I want to like lift, like, you know, add and change and all the differences. And what I really want to do is I want to take my first draft, which is just in like a raw form. Whenever I write my first draft in like Scrivener, it's basically just like, I don't use multiple scenes, I don't use chapters, I get like one file and I just write entirely within that single file and do like a double space for scenes, right? There's nothing else. There's no structure. It is structureless. The structure comes in on draft 2. So what I want to do is I want to go and get that first draft and organize it and put it into the outline for draft 2 and like move things around as they need to be moved around, and we'll see how that turns out. I'm actually really curious, but I think it will help me kind of know what the structure is, and then I can have a better idea of what new scenes I need to write, so that for this coming draft 2 we can figure out if I can actually write these new scenes without like reminding myself of all the other bits. Which I think is going to be the most difficult part, right? How do I know where their emotional space is in the new scenes if I haven't like done the developmental edits on the previous scenes? But you know, I want to see if it works, and so we're going to try it, and if I have to adjust mid like draft, that's fine. I think part of what's fun about writing is there's really no rules. Like, you can do whatever you want. Either in terms of like story structure or like writing style or just like process. Like, the process can change and be like variable as much as you want, and I think that's so much fun. I feel like one thing I really want to do is I really want to figure out like what my process should be, like what my ideal working process is for my brain. Like, is it consistency? Is it just kind of like brute force, like that sort of stuff? Is it segmenting all my tasks into different things? Is it just like going and running and taking advantage of my hyper focus stuff and just like doing like full on take like a full day and just like not do anything else? Like, I'm trying to figure out what is basically the most ideal process for me. And so that's part of what this all is. We're doing some experimentation, and I think it'll be really fun. So wish me luck. Anyways, I'm gonna head off and do the Project Star stuff. Also, I think MSI is starting for League of Legends, which is very exciting. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I will see you soon, potentially, maybe, possibly. Anyways, bye.